If you hold a green card in the United States right now, stop whatever you're doing and listen carefully, because what I'm about to share could be the difference between keeping your permanent resident status and watching years of hard work disappear overnight. A massive shift in immigration policy has just taken effect, and the reality is that most green card holders have absolutely no idea what's coming their way. By the time many people find out about these changes, it will already be too late to protect themselves. I've been covering immigration news for years, and I can tell you without hesitation that this is one of the most significant developments I've ever seen. We're not talking about minor adjustments or bureaucratic tweaks here. We're talking about fundamental changes to how the United States government monitors, tracks, and evaluates every single permanent resident living within its borders. The rules have changed completely. And if you don't adapt quickly, you could find yourself facing consequences that seemed unimaginable just months ago now. Before panic sets in, I want you to take a deep breath. Yes, these changes are serious. Yes, there are real consequences for those who fail to comply, but here's the good news. If you're watching this video right now, you're already ahead of millions of other green card holders who remain completely in the dark. Knowledge is your greatest weapon in the immigration system, and by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to navigate these new requirements with confidence. Welcome to this channel, where we cut through the noise and deliver clear, accurate, and actionable immigration information that protects your future in America. If this is your first time here, you found a community of immigrants, green card holders, and families who refuse to be blindsided by changes that affect our lives. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because in today's rapidly changing immigration landscape, missing even one critical update could cost you everything. Let me start by explaining exactly what has changed and why it matters so much. The federal government has implemented a comprehensive new system that requires all green card holders to actively verify and maintain their status in ways never required before. This isn't just about having a valid green card in your wallet anymore. This is about proving on an ongoing basis that you deserve to keep that card for decades. The immigration system operated on a relatively simple principle. Once you received your green card, you were expected to follow certain rules, but the government rarely checked whether you were actually complying. You were supposed to file taxes. You were supposed to maintain your primary residence in the United States. You were supposed to report address changes. But unless you applied for citizenship or ran into trouble at the border, nobody was really watching. That era is officially over. The new system creates what officials are calling a permanent resident accountability framework. Think of it as a continuous verification process that ensures every green card holder is meeting their obligations in real time. Instead of waiting until you apply for citizenship to discover problems with your record, immigration authorities now have the ability to identify compliance issues as they happen and take action accordingly. Here's where the contrast becomes stark. Under the old system, a green card holder could, technically, live outside the United States for extended periods, fail to file taxes for several years, or neglect to update their address, and face no immediate consequences. The problems would only surface years later, during a citizenship interview, or when returning from international travel. Under the new system, these same behaviors will trigger automatic flags in a centralized database that immigration officers can access instantly. Let me paint a picture of how different things are now. Imagine two green card holders. The first one follows every rule perfectly. She files her taxes on time, maintains her residence reports every address change, and keeps her information current. Under both the old and new systems, she has nothing to worry about. But now consider the second green card holder. He travels frequently for business, sometimes spending 4 or 5 months abroad at a time. He's been meaning to update his address after moving last year but never got around to it. He filed taxes late a couple of times because life got busy under the old system. This person might never face consequences for these minor oversights. Under the new system, each of these issues creates a digital paper trail that could be used to question his commitment to permanent residence. This is not about punishing people who make honest mistakes. The government's stated goal is to ensure that green cards are held by people who genuinely intend to make the United States their permanent home. But the practical effect is that behaviors, which used to fly under the radar, are now being actively monitored and documented. The most critical component of these changes is a new online registration and verification portal that every green card holder must use. This system will serve as your official record of compliance with permanent resident obligations. When you register, you'll create a profile that includes your current address, employment information, contact details, and other relevant data. But registration is just the beginning. You'll also be required to log in periodically and confirm that your information remains accurate. Think about what this means for your daily life. Every time you move to a new apartment, you'll need to update the system. Every time you change jobs, the system needs to know. If you're planning an extended trip abroad, you should document it in advance. The government is essentially creating a living record of every green card holder's life circumstances, updated continuously and accessible to immigration authorities whenever they need it. Now, let me break down exactly what the registration process involves and what you need to prepare. The registration process requires you to provide several categories of information, and I want to walk you through each one so there are no surprises when you sit down to complete it. First, you'll need your alien registration number, which is the 8 or 9-digit number printed on your green card. This number is your unique identifier in the immigration system, and you cannot proceed without it. If you've misplaced your green card or it was stolen, you need to address that issue immediately, because without a valid card and a number, you cannot complete the registration process. Your basic identification. The system requires your complete biographical information, including your full legal name, exactly as it appears on your immigration documents, your date of birth, your country of birth, and your country of citizenship. Any discrepancies between what you enter and what exists in government records will trigger a review, so accuracy is absolutely essential. Take the time to verify that every piece of information matches your official documents before you submit. Your current physical address in the United States is another critical requirement. This might seem straightforward, but it's actually where many people run into problems. The address you provide must be your actual residence, not a PO box, and not a friend's address you use for mail. Immigration authorities want to know where you physically live, and providing false information about your residence is considered fraud. If you've been staying with relatives while between apartments or living in temporary housing, you need to sort out your permanent address situation before registering. Employment information represents another major component of the registration. You'll need to provide your employer's name, address, and your job title. If you're self-employed, you'll need to document the nature of your business. If you're unemployed, retired, or a homemaker, the system has categories for those situations as well. The key point is that the government wants to understand how you support yourself financially, because this relates to the public charge considerations that have become increasingly important in immigration evaluations. Here's something many people don't realize. You'll also need to provide information about your dependents, specifically any family members who are also green card holders or United States citizens. This creates a linked record that allows immigration authorities to see family units and understand household compositions. If your spouse or children also hold green cards, Their compliance status could potentially affect evaluations of your own case, though the exact mechanisms for this are still being clarified. The system also requires you to upload a recent photograph of yourself. This photo must meet specific technical requirements. Similar to passport photos, it needs to show your full face clearly, be taken against a plain, white or light-colored background, and be no more than 6 months old. Many people underestimate how important this photo requirement is. A rejected photo means your registration cannot be completed, and you'll have to start parts of the process over again. I recommend going to a professional passport photo service rather than trying to take an acceptable photo at home. Now let's talk about what happens after you complete the initial registration, because this is where the ongoing obligations begin. The new system requires annual verification from every green card holder. Once per year, you must log into the portal and confirm that all of your information remains accurate or update any details that have changed. The system will send you email reminders as your verification deadline approaches, but ultimately the responsibility falls on you to meet this requirement. Missing your annual verification has consequences. If you fail to verify your information for 1 year, a flag appears on your record. If you miss 2 consecutive years, your green card status may be classified as potentially abandoned, and you could receive a notice requiring you to appear for an interview to explain your non-compliance. This is where the new system shows its teeth. What used to be a minor oversight is now treated as evidence that you may not be maintaining your permanent residence as required by law beyond annual verification. You're also required to report certain life changes within 30 days of when they occur. This is the part that will affect most people's daily lives, so pay close attention. Address changes must be reported within 30 days of moving. This requirement actually existed under previous law, but few people followed it, and enforcement was essentially non-existent. Under the new system, your address in the portal is cross-referenced with other government databases, and discrepancies will be identified automatically. Employment changes also fall under the 30-day reporting requirement. If you change jobs, you need to update the system. If you lose your job and become unemployed, you need to report it. If you switch from full-time to part-time work or start your own business, the system needs to reflect that change. The government's interest here relates to your ability to support yourself without becoming a public charge, which remains a key factor in immigration evaluations. Any criminal arrests or convictions must be reported, regardless of how minor they might seem. Even a misdemeanor arrest that gets dismissed needs to be documented. This might feel invasive, but the logic from the government's perspective is straightforward. Criminal history has always been relevant to immigration status, and the new system simply ensures that immigration authorities learn about legal issues in real time rather than discovering them years later. During a citizenship interview, travel outside the United States requires special attention under the new rules. Any trip that will exceed 6 months should be reported in advance through the portal. The system includes a travel notification feature where you can document your departure date, destination, and expected return date. This creates an official record that protects you if questions arise later about the duration of your absence. Green card holders have always faced scrutiny about extended time abroad, but now there's a formal mechanism for demonstrating that your travel was planned and that you intend to return. Marital status changes, including marriage, divorce, or the death of a spouse, must also be reported within 30 days. Your family situation affects multiple aspects of your immigration record, and the government wants current information about your household composition. At all times, let me address the timelines and deadlines, because this is where many people will get caught off guard if they're not paying attention. The new portal system launches within the next 60 days. However, there's a 90-day grace period after launch, during which registration is strongly encouraged, but not yet mandatory once that grace period ends. Registration becomes a legal requirement, and failure to comply triggers the consequences I described earlier. Do the math and you'll realize you have roughly 5 months from today to complete your registration. That might sound like plenty of time, but I'm going to urge you not to wait. Here's why. There are approximately 13 million green card holders in the United States right now, even if only half of them wait until the final weeks to register. That's over 6 million people trying to access the same system simultaneously. Government websites are notorious for crashing under heavy traffic. The last thing you want is to be frantically trying to register on the final day while the system is down or running so slowly. That page's time out before you can submit your information. My strong recommendation is to register within the first 30 days after the system launches. Be among the early users when the system is running smoothly, and support staff are available to help with any issues. Set a calendar reminder right now for the launch date so you don't forget your future self will. Thank you for taking this seriously. Now let's talk about consequences, because this is where the gravity of these changes comes crystal clear. If you fail to register by the mandatory deadline, your green card will be flagged as non-compliant. In federal databases, you'll receive a notice giving you one final 30-day opportunity to register and avoid further penalties. If you still don't register after that final notice, several serious consequences unfold. Your green card status will be classified as potentially abandoned. You may be summoned for an in-person interview, where you'll need to explain why you failed to comply with the registration requirement and convince an immigration officer that you still deserve to maintain your permanent resident status. This is not a friendly conversation. This is a formal proceeding where your future in this country hangs in the balance. If you attempt to travel internationally while your status is flagged as non-compliant, you may be detained at the port of entry when you try to return. Your green card could be confiscated on the spot, and you could be placed into removal proceedings. Imagine landing at an airport after visiting family abroad, expecting to walk through customs like you've done dozens of times before, only to be pulled into a secondary inspection room and told that your green card has been taken, and you'll need to appear before an immigration judge to determine whether you can stay in the country. This scenario is now a real possibility for anyone who ignores these new. Non-compliance also affects your path to citizenship. If you've been dreaming of becoming a United States citizen, failing to meet these registration and verification requirements could delay the dream significantly. You will become ineligible to file for naturalization until you've come back into compliance and maintain a clean compliance record. For someone who was planning to apply for citizenship next year, this could mean waiting for or more additional years. Financial penalties also enter the picture. Civil fines of up to $1,000 can be imposed for failure to register in cases where authorities believe someone deliberately avoided registration to hide criminal activity, evade taxes, or fraudulently maintain a green card while actually living abroad. Criminal charges can be filed. The criminal offense carries potential penalties of up to 2 years in federal prison and fines of up to $20,000, $5,000. These aren't empty threats designed to scare you. These are the actual penalties written into the new framework. But here's where I want to shift the tone, because it's not all we're doing for green card holders who take these requirements seriously and maintain compliance. The new system actually offers some genuine by keeping your information current and verified. In the official portal, you create an unimpeachable record of your commitment to permanent residence in the United States. When you eventually apply for citizenship, this compliance history works strongly in your favor. Instead of scrambling to prove that you've been good permanent resident, you'll have documented evidence going back years The portal also provides convenient access to your immigration records. You can download official documents, check the status of any pending applications, and receive important updates about policy changes that might affect you. Many green card holders currently have no easy way to access this information, so the new system actually improves transparency in that regard. Another practical benefit involves expiration reminders. Green cards need to be renewed periodically, and many people forget to check their expiration dates. Until it's too late, the new system will send you automated reminders at 90 days, 60 days, 30 days, and 14 days before your card expires. This alone could save you from the headache of trying to work or travel with an expired green card while waiting for those who travel frequently. The travel notification feature creates documented evidence of your past absences. When you return through customs, border officers can see in real time that you pre-reported your trip, which can help smooth your entry. You're essentially creating a record that demonstrates you plan to return all along, which addresses one of the biggest concerns immigration authorities have about green card holders who spend significant time abroad. The system will be accessible in multiple languages and includes tutorial videos to help people navigate the registration process. For elderly green card holders or those with limited English proficiency, USCIS has committed to providing assistance through their contact center and at local field offices. Let me address some common misconceptions that are already circulating, because misinformation spreads fast, and I want you to have the facts. Some people are claiming this new system is designed to strip green cards from millions of people through mass deportation. That's simply not accurate. The stated purpose is compliance and accountability, not punishment of law-abiding permanent residents. If you follow the rules, maintain your residence, file your taxes, and register in the system as required, these changes should not threaten your status in. Others worrying that once they register, the government will monitor their every move, like some kind of surveillance program. This exaggerates what the system actually does. The portal collects specific information at specific times. It's not tracking your location or reading. It's a verification system, not a surveillance operation. Understanding this distinction helps reduce unnecessary anxiety about participating. Perhaps the most dangerous myth is that people who are close to applying for citizenship don't worrying about these requirements. This could not be more wrong. Until the exact moment you take the oath of citizenship and receive your naturalization certificate, failing to comply with registration requirements could. Actually, here's what I need you to do right now. First, locate your green card and confirm you know your number. If your card is lost or expired, start the replacement process immediately. Second, gather the documents you'll need for registration, including proof of your current address, employment information, and a recent passport-style photo. Third, verify you have a reliable email address that you check regularly, because all official communications will come electronically. Fourth, set a calendar reminder for the system launch date so you can register early and avoid the last-minute rush. Fifth, share this video with every green card holder you know, because millions of people have no idea these changes are coming. The immigration landscape in America is shifting rapidly, and those who stay informed will thrive, while those who ignore the changes will suffer consequences. You've already taken the most important step by watching this video and educating yourself about what's required. Now the question is whether you'll take action or let this knowledge fade away until it's too late. If you found this information valuable, hit the like button so more people can discover this video. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because I'll continue bringing you critical updates as the situation develops. Drop a comment below with any questions or concerns, and I'll do my best to address them in future videos. Your input helps me understand what this community needs most. Remember that knowledge is power in immigration matters. The more informed you are, the better you can protect yourself and your family. Stay vigilant, stay compliant, and don't let deadlines catch you by surprise. I'll see you in the next video.